Alright, welcome to another Evil Tier List video. Today we have Resident Evil Protagonists. I mean, this series need no introduction when it has so many legendary characters. Let's start with Mia Winters. Mia Winters is the wife of Ethan Winters, the main protagonist of Resident Evil 7. She was a former operative of the Connections, a bioterrorist organization that created Evelyn, a bioorganic weapon that can control people's minds. Mia was tasked with escorting Evelyn to a new location, but things went wrong when Evelyn escaped and infected Mia and the Baker family. Mia then sent a video message to Ethan, asking him to come and save her. Mia is a complex character who has done both good and bad things in her life. On one hand, she lied to Ethan about her past and put him in danger by involving him in the events of Resident Evil 7. She also participated in the creation and transport of Evelyn, a weapon that caused a lot of death and destruction. On the other hand, she tried to protect Ethan and their daughter Rose from Evelyn and Chris Redfield, respectively. She also showed remorse and guilt for her actions and wanted to start a new life with Ethan. So, what tier does Mia Winters belong to? I think she is somewhat evil. She is not as evil as the villains of the series, but she is not a hero either. She is a flawed human being who made some bad choices, but also tried to redeem herself. She is somewhere in the middle of the spectrum, and that's why I put her in the somewhat evil tier. That's it for Mia Winters. Next, Billy Cohen. So Billy Cohen is a former US Marine who was sentenced to death for allegedly killing 23 people in a village in Africa during a secret mission. He escaped from custody when his transport vehicle was attacked by zombies and met Rebecca Chambers, a rookie STARS officer. Together, they survived the horrors of the Ecliptic Express and the Umbrella Research Center and uncovered the truth behind the massacre. Billy Cohen is not a typical hero, but he is not a villain either. He has a strong sense of justice and morality, and he refused to participate in the slaughter of innocent civilians. He also protected and cared for Rebecca and helped her escape from the facility. He showed remorse and regret for his past actions and decided to leave behind his military identity and start a new life. Therefore, I think Billy Cohen deserves the tier of anti-hero. He is not a pure-hearted hero, but he is not a cold-blooded killer either. He is a complex and flawed character who has done some bad things, but also some good things. He is a survivor who tries to redeem himself and find his place in the world. CLA Redfield. Truly underrated in my opinion. Claire is the younger sister of Chris Redfield, one of the founding members of the BSAA, an anti-bioterrorism organization. Claire first appeared in Resident Evil 2, where she was looking for her brother in Raccoon City and met Leon Kennedy, a rookie cop. Together, they escaped the city and the clutches of the Umbrella Corporation, a shady company that created the T-virus, a biological weapon that turned people into zombies and monsters. Claire also appeared in Resident Evil, Code Veronica, where she infiltrated an Umbrella facility and rescued her brother from the Ashford family, who were experimenting with the T-Veronica virus, a more powerful variant of the T-virus. Claire also appeared in Resident Evil Degeneration, a CGI movie, where she helped Leon stop a bioterrorist attack at an airport. Claire is a compassionate, brave, and resourceful character who cares deeply for her brother and her friends. She is also a skilled fighter and a motorcycle enthusiast. She has a strong sense of justice and morality, and opposes the evil deeds of Umbrella and other bioterrorists. She is not afraid to stand up to anyone who threatens her or the people she loves. She is also willing to help and protect strangers, such as Sherry Birkin, a young girl who was infected by the G-virus, another bioweapon created by Umbrella. Claire is also loyal and supportive of her allies, such as Leon, Moira, and Barry. Based on these traits and actions, I would rank CLA Redfield as good in the tier list of how evil they are. She is your typical good-hearted character with almost no gray areas. Jill Valentine. Jill is one of the original members of the STARS, a special forces unit of the Raccoon City Police Department. Jill first appeared in Resident Evil, where she was part of the Alpha team that was sent to investigate the mysterious disappearances and murders in the Arklay Mountains, near Raccoon City. There, she discovered the Spencer Mansion, a secret laboratory of Umbrella, where the T-virus was unleashed. She also met Albert Wesker, the leader of the STARS, who was actually a double agent working for Umbrella. Jill managed to survive the mansion incident and expose Wesker's betrayal. Jill also appeared in Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, where she was one of the few survivors of the Raccoon City outbreak and had to face Nemesis, a relentless bioorganic weapon sent by Umbrella to kill the remaining STARS members. Jill also teamed up with Carlos Oliveira, a mercenary working for Umbrella, who later switched sides and helped Jill escape the city before it was destroyed by a nuclear missile. Jill also appeared in Resident Evil, The Umbrella Chronicles, a rail shooter game, where she revisited some of the events of Resident Evil and Resident Evil 3, as well as new scenarios. Jill also appeared in Resident Evil 5, where she was revealed to have been captured by Wesker, who used a mind control device called P-30 to turn her into his loyal servant. She also underwent genetic modifications that enhanced her speed and strength, but also made her more vulnerable to sunlight. Jill was eventually freed from Wesker's control by Chris and his new partner, Shiva Alamar, who also helped Jill defeat Wesker once and for all. Jill also appeared in Resident Evil Revelations, where she was part of the BSAA and investigated a cruise ship called the Queen Zenobia, where a new virus called the T-Abyss was unleashed. She also faced off against the Veltro, a terrorist group that claimed responsibility for the attack. Jill also appeared in Resident Evil, Operation Raccoon City, a non-canon spin-off game, where she was an enemy of the Umbrella Security Service, a group of mercenaries hired by Umbrella to cover up their involvement in the Raccoon City outbreak. Jill is a smart, courageous, and resilient character who has a background in bomb disposal and lockpicking. She is also a proficient marksman and hand-to-hand combatant. She has a strong sense of duty and honor and is determined to stop Umbrella and other bioterrorists from harming the world. She is also a loyal and caring friend who values her teammates and partners, such as Chris, Barry, Carlos, and Shiva. She is also respectful and friendly to other allies, such as Leon, Claire, and Rebecca. Good tier. Now for the character you all were waiting for. Leon the Badass. So what tier does Leon belong to? Well, I think he is a good character. He is not evil at all. In fact, he is a hero who always tries to save people and fight against evil. He has a strong sense of justice and duty, and he never hesitates to risk his life for others. He is also loyal to his friends and allies, and he respects human life. He is not perfect, of course. He has made some mistakes and questionable decisions, but he always tries to do the right thing. Some of you might argue that Leon is an anti-hero because he works for a corrupt government that is responsible for many atrocities. He also sometimes kills innocent people who are infected by the virus, and he has a shady relationship with Ada, who is not exactly a good person. But I think these are not enough to make him an anti-hero. He is not a rebel or a vigilante. He follows the law and the orders of his superiors unless they are clearly wrong. He also shows remorse and compassion for the victims of the virus, and he tries to find a cure or a vaccine. He is not in love with Ada, he is just attracted to her, and he knows that she is not trustworthy. He is not a saint, but he is not a sinner either. So there you have it. Leon Kennedy is a good character, and he deserves to be in the top tier of this list. Do you agree with me, or do you think he is more evil than I think? Let me know in the comments below. Now Carlos. Carlos is a tough guy with a heart of gold. He may work for Umbrella, the evil corporation that unleashed the zombie apocalypse, but he is not loyal to them. He helps Jill escape from the city and even saves her from the Nemesis, the terrifying bioweapon that stalks her throughout the game. He also shows remorse for his actions and tries to atone for his sins. So, where does Carlos rank on the evil tier list? I would say he is an anti-hero. He is not a saint, but he is not a villain either. He is a flawed but sympathetic character who does the right thing when it matters. He may have a shady past, but he has a bright future. Plus, he has a cool accent and a nice haircut. Chris Redfield. Chris Redfield is one of the main heroes of the Resident Evil series. He is a former member of the Special Tactics and Rescue Service, STARS, and a founding member of the Bioterrorism Security Assessment Alliance, BSAA. He has fought against various bioweapons and terrorist organizations, such as Umbrella, Neo-Umbrella, and the Family. He is also the older brother of CLA Redfield, another protagonist of the series. So, what tier does Chris Redfield belong to? Well, I think he is a good character. He is not evil at all. In fact, he is very noble and selfless. He always tries to protect his friends and innocent people from harm, and he never hesitates to risk his life for the greater good. He has a strong sense of justice and morality, and he hates bioterrorism and those who abuse it. He is also loyal and compassionate, and he cares deeply for his sister and his partners, such as Jill Valentine and Piers Nivens. However, I know Chris is not perfect. He has some flaws and weaknesses that make him more human and relatable. For example, he can be stubborn, reckless, and impulsive at times. He can also suffer from guilt, trauma, and anger issues, especially after losing someone he loves. He can also be overprotective of his sister and his teammates, which can sometimes backfire. He can also be a bit of a jerk to some people, like Leon Kennedy and Jake Muller, but he usually apologizes later. So yeah, Chris Redfield is a good guy. He is not evil. He is not an anti-hero. He is not somewhat evil. And he is definitely not a devil. He is a hero who fights for what is right and who tries to make the world a better place. He may have some flaws, but he also has many virtues. He is one of the most iconic and beloved characters of the Resident Evil series, and he deserves to be in the good tier. Now let's continue with Rebecca Chambers, the rookie medic of the STARS Bravo team. She first appeared in Resident Evil 0, where she teamed up with Billy Cohen, a former Marine convicted of war crimes. Together, they survived the horrors of the Umbrella Corporation's experiments and escaped the train, the facility, and the mansion. So where does Rebecca Chambers rank on the evil scale? Well, I'm going to give her a good tier. Why? Because she's one of the most innocent and pure characters in the series. She's not a cold-blooded killer. She's not a traitor. She's not a zombie. She's not a tyrant. She's not a nemesis. She's not a Wesker. She's just a normal girl who happens to be good at healing and shooting. Rebecca Chambers is a good person who tries to help others and do the right thing. She saved Billy from execution. She cured Richard from snake venom. She fought against the evil forces of Umbrella, and she survived the nightmare. She even returned to the series in Resident Evil, Vendetta, where she developed a vaccine for a new virus and helped Chris and Leon stop a terrorist attack. Sure, Rebecca Chambers is not perfect. She's naive, she's clumsy, she's scared, she's inexperienced. But these can be overlooked. Ethan Winters is the main protagonist of Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil Village. He is a former systems engineer who gets involved in a series of horrific events after his wife Mia goes missing. He has to face various bioterrorist threats, such as the Baker family, the Molded, and the Four Lords. Ethan is not a typical hero. He is not trained in combat. He is not affiliated with any organization, and he is not motivated by any noble cause. He is just a regular guy who wants to save his family and survive. He is often reluctant, scared, and confused by the situations he finds himself in. He also suffers a lot of physical and psychological trauma, such as having his limbs severed, infected, or mutated. But Ethan is also brave, determined, and resourceful. He never gives up on his wife and daughter, even when they betray him or endanger him. He fights against overwhelming odds, using whatever weapons and items he can find. He also shows compassion and kindness to some of the people he meets, such as Zoe, the Duke, and Chris Redfield. That's why I think Ethan Winters deserves the anti-hero tier. He is not a pure-hearted hero, but he is not a villain either. He is a flawed and realistic character who does what he has to do to protect his loved ones. Next, we have Shiva Alamar. Shiva Alamar is the deuteragonist of Resident Evil 5. She is a BSAA agent who partners with Chris Redfield to stop a bioterrorist plot in Africa. She is a skilled and experienced fighter who can use various firearms and melee weapons. She is also a loyal and supportive partner who helps Chris overcome his guilt and anger. Shiva is a good person. She joined the BSAA to fight against bioterrorism after witnessing the horrors of the Umbrella Corporation in her childhood. She cares about the people of Africa and wants to prevent them from becoming victims of the virus. She also respects and trusts Chris and follows his lead. However, Shiva is not a perfect person. She sometimes questions Chris's actions, especially when he becomes obsessed with finding and killing Albert Wesker. She also makes some mistakes, such as letting Irving escape or falling into traps. She also has some doubts and fears, such as being afraid of losing Chris or being infected by the virus. I think Shiva Alamar deserves the good tier. She is a heroic and positive character who fights for a noble cause. She is not flawless, but she is admirable and likable. Finally, Steve Burnside. In my opinion, Steve Burnside is a somewhat evil character from Resident Evil Code, Veronica, who was a prisoner of the Umbrella Corporation on Rockford Island. He escaped the island with the help of CLA Redfield, only to meet a horrific fate in Antarctica. He was imprisoned because his father was selling Umbrella's secrets on the black market, which is not a very noble thing to do, and Steve probably knew about it. He was also very rude, selfish, and impulsive, often putting Claire in danger or annoying her with his flirting. He even shot his own zombified father without hesitation, showing no remorse or compassion. He did redeem himself a bit by saving Claire from a tyrant and confessing his love for her, but it was too late. He was infected by the T. Veronica virus and mutated into a monster who attacked Claire and was killed by Wesker. Poor Steve. He never had a chance. So that's it for the video. Which pick you think should change? Let me in the comments. The thing is that Resident Evil often portrays their protagonist as Saint, and that's why we had so many good characters. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time. Till then, take care.